Start recording. Happy Monday. Thank you for being on. Another wonderful week to start. So I was sitting there and I was like debating what to talk about today, right? Because there's so much going on. There's MBF, there's Bevy, there's blah, 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 blah. And then I got to be a part of the virtual vacay this weekend. And you guys, like legit mini summit from my house. I am lit on fire. And it always makes me realize that vision, all of that stuff, like that stuff trumps training all the time, right? Like we've got enough training. We've got training up the wazoo. If you don't have the passion and the fire lit, I don't care. So anything that brings that to me is humongous. And I went into this weekend like not expecting that. When they started this virtual vacay, which again, you guys, Lindsay Matway did for the Dynasty. It was anyone that had held diamond or above for 6 weeks. So again, just the perks of having an advanced business. And the whole thing was like to really just, they poured into us, you guys poured. And I thought it was going to be like when they put the lineup and it was like trainers and stuff in the beginning when they announced it, like that's cool, right? But like, I didn't realize it was going to be what it was. And I was like moved. Like, I mean, I messaged her after they did a top coach panel, kind of like what happened at Leadership. And it was like her and all of the other leaders. First of all, I wish I could, we are legit the luckiest team in the world to be part of these powerhouse women with her. Like, this is not powerhouse women like I'm going out there to get it and like Cupco. These are powerhouse women that are filled with love and passion and joy and vision. And, you know, even at Summit last year, the top coaches who might not even be on our team always speak about Lindsay as like like always instilling vision in them. So I just kind of wanted to bring some of that back to you and talk to you about it because and that's why I just wanted to call this call Vision and Commitment, because I think it's two things that you have to have in this business. And if you don't, you're going to be floating around there, like wondering, am I in the right place? Or what am I doing? Or am I doing the things, etc. So again, like I said, no amount of training, watching training videos is going to provide you in here what it really is that I think this business is all about. So, and the reason I think this is like the perfect day to talk about this is like, we're at the end of the month, you guys. And I want to just think back to, it's like always a time for reflection. Like when I get to the end of the month, because sometimes I start the month like really like gung ho. I've got all of these goals. I've got plans listed out. And I did this month and I always do big goals. I'm motivated. I'm inspired. I'm like taking action. And then I don't reach them. And guess what? That happens to me all the time. Like that's completely normal. So it always is my time to reflect. Like, did I take the actions that are necessary for me to meet that goal that I stated? For me this month, hell to the yes. Like I've worked my freaking hiney butt off. Did I meet the goal? No. But am I happy with what I did? Yes. So that's A-okay, you guys, because sometimes our goals, we put a time frame on them and we might not reach them in that time frame. And guess what? It's okay. We just course correct and we will get there. But if you're sitting here and you think back to sitting on that team call June 1st and you were like, said you were going to do all these things and you were going to invite every day and then you didn't do it, that's when you need to sit there and figure out what led me astray, like what led me from that person that's out there in the beginning of the month to the person that then stopped inviting or stopped engaging or stopped their personal development, stopped doing the vitals, right? Because you guys, confidence is following through on the actions that you said you were going to do. Like to me, every decision we make, and I say this to challengers too, either builds your confidence or takes it away, because we all state a goal. Everybody states a goal. And if your actions that you're taking are actions that would bring you closer to your goals, that builds your confidence. Every decision you make that is a decision that would support the goal that you have builds your confidence. But every decision you make that actually takes you away from it, inside is your body subconsciously like losing confidence in yourself because you're like, man, I said I was going to do this thing and now I'm not doing it. So then the next time you state a goal, it's going to be something subconsciously that you're like, well, girl, you said it, but you're not going to do it, right? Like we don't even realize that we do this to ourselves, but we do. And, you know, to me, it's not who shows up, the you that shows up on the first of the month with all the motivation and the energy and the goals. It's the you that's sitting here today. And maybe you're not in Success Club yet, or maybe you're not where you want. Maybe you didn't add the amount of coaches. Maybe you didn't do the amount of invites. Are you the person who says, well, this month is over, so I'll just start it next month? Or are you the person who says, I've got 36 hours left to hit Success Club, to 10x my messages? And I see Melanie nodding because I know months you did this, sister, that you're like, dude, I can't even be on the team call. I got work to do. That's what it means, you guys. It is the you that shows up when things aren't going well. It is the you that shows up at the end of the month when you have what seems like an itsy bitsy amount of time left, but it's freaking productive time, you guys. And it's when you throw in the towel on that productive time and say, well, I didn't hit it, I didn't reach it, so now I'm just going to check out until the first of the month. No, we don't want our challengers doing that in their programs. Why would we want us doing that in our business, right? Hobby effort is going to yield you hobby results. If some business, like a restaurant, didn't, like, I don't know, maybe a retail store, right? Like had this like goal of a certain amount of sales per month and they didn't hit it. Would they shut their door? Like would Target shut their doors today and be like, see ya on Wednesday? No, because it's a business and anything they're going to do between now and open of business Wednesday is still freaking business, you guys. If you check out that last day of the month, you could miss a conversation with your future rock star coach. You could miss a conversation with your next challenger. You could miss a conversation with the next person that's going to refer you to like 80 different people and open up a whole nother network. So I always want you to think about that when you're tempted to check out or take the day off. And not saying don't take off days, because if you're doing your work Monday through Friday, take the weekend, or depending on your goals. I mean, I work the weekends, but it's because it's my goal to freaking work. So if you're doing the things, feel okay taking time off because you did them. I'm not saying this is a business you've got to work 24/7 because nothing's ever enough. That's not the case. It is enough if you're doing the vitals, if you are getting the response that you want. And if not, sometimes we need to up our actions to get to the goals that we want. And Trent Shelton said something that I loved. It was so powerful. And man, if you guys don't listen to his podcast or listen to him speak, he will light a fire up your hiney any day of the week. He said, a made up mind is a powerful thing. If you have made up your mind that you will be a certain type person, a certain person who follows through on their goals, a certain person who does what they said they're going to do, then you will. But if you're sitting here and you've made up if you made up your mind that you can be successful in this business, you can and you will. But if you're sitting here and you made up your mind that I can't be successful in this business, or this business isn't for me, or if you've made up your mind that things are out of your control, that's leading to failure, like, oh, but it's COVID, and oh, but I have my kids home and I'm homeschooling them and whatever. Guess what? So is half the freaking nation. So that's you making up your mind one way or the other. And that is so powerful, because if you say that you can't do it, or you're not capable, or you won't do it, you're not gonna. There's no way. And that is actually on you. It's not on anybody else. And instead of feeling the comparison game of seeing other people succeed in this business, because I'm going to tell you, I felt it this month. I feel so lucky to be part of some of these like elite push groups. And I know I'm doing better than half the people, but there's the other half that are leaving me in the dust. And I'm like, well, shit. But instead of getting that comparison game and getting down, I'm like, man, look at what is possible. Yes, this month, the world turned upside down at the beginning of the month. Yes, there were riots. Yes, people felt unsafe. They felt unsettled about everything. Allow yourself grace for that. But don't let it be the reason why you can't succeed, because there are other people out there crushing it. Hello, Superstar Diamond 3, if you did not hear that on the call this morning. I don't know about you guys, and I'm going to share with you because she shared it. Lindsay Matway shared with us in our message pod what the Superstar Diamond quarterly bonus is, you guys. Last quarter, it was $57,000 quarterly bonus. And when you're Superstar times 3 and you have 3 business centers, guess what you get? $171,000 per quarter. That is mind-boggling. And guess what? 15-star is not impossible for anyone. Not in freaking possible. This team is going to do it. By the end of 2021, we're going to do it. And I took a walk today and I was like, when I heard that Superstar 3, I was like, shit, holy shit. And I was sitting there and I was like, would my full-time PT job ever make me $150,000 in a year? No. 4 times a year? Never. This business? Yes. And what Lindsay would say, and any of those superstars would say, that's just like a flashy number. That's not even near what they make on like their actual weekly, because they work and they built a team. So yes, it's like bells and whistles, but that's like just scratching the surface, you guys. So instead of being like, that's not for me, I am so driven by the opportunity that this business provides that I'm like, I am so lucky to be sitting here doing this, because if I was punching in and punching out, like no freaking way, I'd be doing that till I'm 75 and I'd still probably barely have like a 401k that would support me. We are sitting on the biggest opportunity in the whole world, and we're doing it from our yoga pants and like working out, taking care of ourselves. We're not like some CEO of some company that's working 80 hours a week and running themselves down and like hating what they do, right? So I just want to bring that to your attention, you guys. Like, if you're not excited to be here, you're in the wrong place. Or you need to find that excitement or switch the mindset that maybe it's not for you, because it freaking is. All of these people, it is. Lindsay shares all the time. She was bankrupt. They had creditors coming after their house, their cars, their whatever. She was on a weak inside dead leg, like no upline, no down, like volume, no nothing. And like, I just look at that and I'm like, if I were ever to sit here and try and make an excuse, I would be like, well, what would Lindsay say? You know? And it's just like, it's heart, it's passion, it's hard work, and it's drive. And that's all that it is. And you know, you guys, some people are like, well, I'm not confident. Confidence is not built when people tell you yes. Not. That's like sweet. Confidence is built when people tell you no and you keep going anyway. That is when you build your confidence. When things knock you down, when obstacles come in your way, when you don't feel like doing it, when you're sick of hearing the no, but you keep going. Because that's when I'm the most proud of myself. This month started out so slow for me. I was like, I might not even make SC10, which I haven't not done that in years. But I kept going, and I knew that all of those conversations I was having every day were going to pay off. And now I'm hoping to end at SC30 because I'm getting close. And the thing is if I had given up on this month when I was at SC4 halfway through, like, think about all these people that I would have not helped, these lives that I wouldn't have changed. That's what I'm here for. It's not the SC number. It's the lives that I would have changed by just piecing out because it was halfway through the month and it wasn't going my way, or I didn't feel the momentum. You know, I always say the conversations you have come back to you after the fact. So keep having the conversations, and I promise they're going to come back to you. And I say that from years of experience in this right now, and that's the way you get to that consistent SC20 all the time. Because it's like, if you've just had 5 to 10 conversations every day throughout your business, a couple months down the road, you're just going to be hitting 10 like nothing, 20 will be your minimum, and 30 will be whatever. It's when you stop and start and stop and start and stop and start. Same thing with workouts, right? We all have those challengers. I have them. Stop and start, stop and start. I'm like, if you had just kept going from day one, you know where you'd be. Stop stopping, right? Like, stop stopping your progress. And that is the problem where a lot of people get into in this business. And so with 6 months left in the year, that's why I want to come in here and bring some fire, because if you have started and stopped meeting the year, you don't have to do that anymore. Just keep going. And I'm not saying you have to, you know, do 80 invites a day. I don't do 80 invites a day, but just be consistent and do them every day. It's not a talent thing, you guys. It's not a talent thing in this business. It's a consistency thing. Nobody ever was like born out of the womb a stellar Beachbody coach, right? Like, no, that's not like inherent talent. It's not like even maybe NBA players, like if your genetics make you 6 feet tall, like maybe you have chances of being like a really good basketball player. Like, there's no genetics involved in Beachbody coaching. There's no skill. There's people that haven't graduated high school. There's people that have, you know what I mean? Like, it's not talent, you guys. It's consistency that compounds. And, you know, one of the messages that I loved that they spoke about on the call was never leave phase one. And phase one is the vitals, right? You guys, it's the product of the product. It's the sharing your story. It's the adding to your network, the inviting, getting people results, recognition, and PD. And every single leader has said that. And that's one thing I've also learned in my business. Like, there's a time where you get to like build a team and you're kind of thinking like you've got to go into like team leader mode and just like manage. And then guess what suffers? Your own business. So I had made that mistake before. Like, well, I got to plan, you know, especially when I was working full time, but I've got to plan team calls and I've got to do these pods to help these girls do this and that. But if I'm not working my business, I'm not growing. And that was another message, you know, in the recent group I was in. It was kind of like the mistake people make when they get to a status like diamond or 1 star or 2 star, and you've got to hold for 6 weeks, is that word hold, right? I've got to hold it. It's like, that's not the abundance mindset that we want. Keep growing through it, right? And then you don't have to worry about falling out of qualification for anything. Diamond is not, I know we've got a lot of people shooting for diamond. That's not like the be all end all of this business, you guys. That's like the beginning of this business, because it gives you the momentum to get to 2 star, which is really when your income is going to change, because you can duplicate yourself. And we all want ourselves to work for us if we're doing the things. Otherwise, we say we do. And then if we sat down and we looked at it, we're like, do we really want us? Or do we want the things we think we're doing? So, you know, and another message that Trent Shelton had, which I loved, he was like, a lot of people will say I'm not consistent. And he's like, I had this problem before. I'd say I'm not consistent. You are consistent. It's a matter of what you're consistent at. You know, like, are you consistent at telling yourself excuses? Are you consistent at taking time off? Are you consistent at, you know, being negative or being lazy? Because that's consistency. It's just the wrong thing. So you can put your energy anywhere you want. I suggest being consistent at other things, the vitals, right? And that's not hard. You don't have to guess at what to be consistent at. You got 4 behaviors to do every day. That's it. What kind of job description has that? Do these 4 things every day and you're going to be successful and you could be a millionaire. Why do we complicate it? Be consistent at those things. You don't have to watch a million trainings. You don't have to do anything else. You have to be consistent at the right things, and that consistency compounds. So, you know, again, it's even when we sit here on a Monday night, it's easy to be, even for myself, it's easy to be really fired up and jacked up, but it's not, again, the person that's sitting here tonight that counts. It's the person that feels all jazzed up and tomorrow morning wakes up and sends like 10 invites before 8 a.m. and they're like, yes, got this. It's the person that is Thursday when you're like, tired, my kids are driving me cray cray, I'm exhausted from work, I gotta clean the house, whatever. It's that person that matters way more than the person that has their fire lit for like a couple hours or a day. And then, because it's about what your actions are when you don't feel like it, right? It's about what your actions are when it's not convenient. Those are the things. And I think about that all the time. The times that have made the biggest difference in my business is when I leaned in at the very moment I wanted to check out, because I've had quite a few of those. When life was so overwhelming and stuff in my family was going on and with my kids, and I was moving and I was working, and I was like, I just need to pause. But I knew if I paused, my momentum would be gone. And so I leaned in instead. And instead of looking at this business as an extra to do, instead of looking at this business as an extra stressor, I looked at it as my stress relief. I looked at it as something I could control when the rest of my world outside of it was out of control. I could sit down on my laptop. I could control that I invited 3 people. I could control that I added 5 people to my network. I could control that I showed up and was a product for the product and did my selfie and checked in with my group. So it made me feel good because it was something I was able to say, I can control my outcomes in this. I couldn't control my sister's health. I couldn't control our closing date of our house that got pushed back 3 months while I was fully packed up. I couldn't control that my kids were pulling crap out of boxes I had packed up. I couldn't control any of that, right? But I could control that 5, 10, 15, 20-minute block. I sat at my computer and I did the things. And guess what? That made me feel comforted, you guys. It relieved my stress. It wasn't like, oh my God, it's something else I got to do. It was like, I can focus, I can do this, and I can know that I did something to move me in the direction of my goals when everything else was seeming to kind of be an obstacle and a speed bump in my way. So, you know, quitting just can't be an option. If you think that this business is something that you could take or leave or quit, then it's not going to serve you. If you say, I'm going to be here regardless, because that's always been my mindset. I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. So either I can be consistent and build at a rate that's going to pay off for me, or I could dilly-dally and hobby and get hobby results, right? I could kind of half-ass my effort. I could get half-ass results. That's not what I wanted. I was seeing these people succeeding. I was seeing these people earning an income. Like I legit almost cried today because this was my goal to like do this full time, right? You guys, but yes, it happened in really weird circumstances of my dad getting sick and COVID happening, and I just couldn't put myself at risk at work. And then I came home and it wasn't really working full time from home because my kids were here. Well, today was our first day of camp. I was productive as all hell. I took a freaking walk in the middle of the day and had a breath of fresh air. I didn't have to stress over anything. When they came home, I was like super happy. I was like, this And I'm only 4 years in, you guys. Like, think about college. You go to 4 years and you pay $100,000 or whatever and go into debt for the rest of your life to go to college. You don't expect to, and you're committing that 4 years to then start earning an income, right? If we're consistent and show up in this business in 4 years, you could be a millionaire.
Yes,
Right? Like, that's pretty much crazy. And I was walking and I was like, oh my God, like, this is like the vision that I had so many years ago when I was sitting there, like putting my kids to bed and so tired, dog tired, that I didn't want to do anything. But I was like, I'm giving up TV and I'm going to do my invites because I haven't done them today. And I'm not going to go to bed until I've done the 3, or I'm going to do my PD or whatever it is. So know that it's possible and know that it's coming, but you just have to show up, and you have to show up consistently. If you want to make it happen, you have to make it happen. Excellence is a habit. It's in our habit. It's in what we do day in and day out. That's like a very cliche saying, but it is the truth. So excellence is just a habit. So it's just a matter of what habit you're forming, what you're going to be excellent at. And I would rather be excellent at changing people's lives and helping other women build a business that's going to change theirs. Personally, where I'd like to go. I don't want to be excellent at Netflix surfing. I don't want to be excellent at, watching silly videos on YouTube. Like, I want to be excellent at doing something that's going to make a difference in my life and in the lives of others. And so, I think that that's also important. When we think about what it costs us to show up, like, sure, it might cost us time away from our family. It might cost us time away from our hobbies, or like in the summer, sometimes everyone's out at the pool and I'm in here doing work, and sure, that costs me. But what would it cost me if I didn't show up? If I didn't do that? It would cost me this future life. It would cost me this ability right now to not go punch a clock in and out, right? That's what it would cost me if I didn't show up. It would cost me the opportunity I have to be a 6 or 7 figure earner that I would never otherwise have. So there's a cost to showing up, sure. There's things that we maybe deprioritize that we'd like to, but there's a cost of not showing up to, you guys. And that cost can often be just saying goodbye to your vision. And that's not what I want for anybody. Some of us we're afraid to show up because we're afraid to be judged. We're afraid to put ourselves out there. We're afraid of what people might think. And if that's the case, then you're really just afraid to be successful, because there's no successful person that everybody loves, right? There's no person in the limelight that everyone agrees with, right? But the definition of success is your definition. Maybe some other people don't think that's success to them, like what I think of as success, but it doesn't matter, right? I don't care what they think. I care what I think, and I care what I want for my family. So I'm going to show up and put myself out there because I want to be my definition of success, not somebody else's definition of success. And I think that we can easily get caught up in comparison. I mean, raise your hand if you compare yourself to others. And if someone doesn't raise it, I would just be really surprised because we all compare. But your life is your life, you guys. It's not someone else's. And oftentimes what we think we're comparing to when we see somebody on social media, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You don't know what goes on in their life. So spending that time and energy wishing you had theirs or comparing with them is taking time and energy away from you just actually creating what you want, right? You might not actually want what you think you want by looking at someone else's life, but you can envision what you really want, and then you can actually just use that energy to get it instead of wasting it wishing you had someone else's. And I think that it's everybody can kind of get caught, and I should be like that coach or speak like that coach, or because someone just really inspires you. And it's great to be inspired, you guys, but you have a unique gift that's you. Like, everybody that's on this team, I want that person showing up. I love this team. I love every single person on it because of the person that you guys are. I don't love it because they were mimicking another coach. So I really want you to promise to show up to just be authentic, because I know if you're my coach, I personally selected you to be on this team. And if you're someone else's, same damn thing. I didn't choose someone to fake to be someone else. I chose the person that I asked for a specific reason, because they inspire me. And that there's specific people out there that need to hear your voice. There's specific people that need Deb's help. There's specific people that need Vanessa's help. There's specific people that need Melanie's help, or Jenna's help, or Meg's help, or Melissa's. They don't need me, but the people that need me need me. And if I don't speak my voice, if I try speaking someone else's voice, it's going to miss the mark. It's going to completely miss the mark, because they don't need me. They need someone else to say those words. It could be the same damn words. So cast your vision, commit to that vision, and then be authentically you as you show up to make it happen. And I think that vision is a really broad word that I struggled with for a while. I'm not a creative person. I'm not a crafty person. I don't do vision boards. It's all in here. But sometimes when we keep things in here, it makes it really hard to be tangible, right? So we want that. We think that looks good. This is kind of a goal. I'm not saying you got to go Pinterest style or like buy 80 magazines from Walmart tomorrow and create a vision board. What I think has been the most powerful exercise for me in vision, you guys, is a 24-hour day vision. So I would like everybody to leave this call and at some point in the next day, write down from start to finish, from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, what your ideal day would look like. What time do you want to wake up? Do you want to wake up to an alarm or do you not want to wake up to an alarm? When you wake up, what would that morning routine look like? Would you read a book? Would you listen to a meditation? Would you do your exercise? Would you journal? Would you go outside for a walk? Would you just sit on your back steps and like listen to the birds? When would you have breakfast? What would you have for breakfast? You know, how many hours per day would you work at whatever it is you want? What would you be working at doing? And how many hours a day would that be? Would you take breaks? Would you kind of do it all in a row? What would you do for self-care? Would you have a lunch date with somebody who's important to you that you would spend time with during that day? How would you treat those people? How would you want them to treat you? Would you take a nap? What time would you have dinner? What would your nighttime routine look like after dinner? What time would you go to bed? How do you feel when you went to bed about your day? I'll tell you, when I did that, detailed, minute to minute, I was like, this is to work for. This is something to work for, right? Because it just took all those things I disliked about my day, waking up at the crack of dawn, rushing, missing breakfast with my kids, rushing out the door, right? Coming home, feeling already rushed by the nighttime routine, unpack bags, make dinner, pack bags, bath, bed, whatever, go to bed completely spent to do it all again. That is not a vision. So what I was doing for work was only going to give me that forever, ever, ever in a day. When I created the vision of wanting to wake up a little bit later, wanting to have this nice morning routine, wanting to have breakfast around the table with my kids, wanting to take a walk in the middle of the day. It's why I almost cried today when I did, right? Like, why don't you just go for a walk with my sister? Because I could, and then I could come back to work, right? Wanting to have some conversation with my husband in the house because he works nights and previously I was working days and we didn't see each other. We were like passing ships, you know, like wanting to put my kids to bed, wanting to work so many hours per day, not 8, maybe 6, right? It's happening. It's happening. It doesn't happen overnight. It's never going to happen overnight, but it will happen. But I personally think, to me, because you can have a vision board, sure, I like a vision board of like family vacations and all that, but that's like a couple times a year. So I don't think that's that powerful to me. The life I live every day, the less stress life, the less rush life, like that to me was more powerful. So try that exercise, just try it. And I would love to see how you feel afterwards. And if then showing up to do the things that suck, like inviting and adding to your network, I'll do them any day. Is it really that hard for that? To not wake up to an alarm, to not have to punch a clock, to not have to ask someone for time off, to be able to take a walk when I want to? That's worth 5 invites. Like, there's a lot of people out there doing some really hard work. There's people in healthcare right now. There's people in construction outside in the summer in 80,000 degree heat and humidity in full garb, right? There's people that are doing jobs that I think I could never do. Be a daycare worker. Pretty sure I can't do that. Like, there's people doing really hard things, you guys. Our job is so stinking easy and fun if you keep the fun in it, right? And if you understand that sometimes it's the tasks that aren't like super exciting and glamorous that will get you to that day that you want to live, like that day that you're like, I can't wait to get up and live my next 24 hours. I can't wait to go to bed and do it all again the next day. That is meaningful to me. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because we are ending a month. The first half of this year has been unlike anything else ever. But it doesn't matter because it's the world we live in today. So we can use it as an excuse to say, well, 2020, psh, or we can just say, I'm going to do the most that I can with the situation that I'm in and the opportunity that I still have and the 6 months that are left to go in this year, right? So what are you going to do? What will you do before the month ends tomorrow night at midnight, right? How are you going to wake up on July 1st? Happy on what you did to end the month? Not so happy? And if you're not so happy, A-okay, how are you going to correct it for July? What do you see yourself doing over the next 6 months? So just think about all that stuff, you guys, because to me, that's the stuff that drives me and makes me realize that these vitals are like a piece of cake, because they're going to allow me to create that life that I want to live. All right. And I was tired before this call, not anymore. Any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, and also, question about anything that's relevant to our business, like MBA or anything like that, because that's kind of big going on right now. But we've got enough training coming from corporate on that. So
that top coach panel, I cried.
Yeah.
I cried.
I messaged Lindsay and I said, if the whole weekend was that, it would have been worth my time.
Yep. And it's amazing how successful they are and how down to earth and how much they want to help us exceed.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to me.
Yep. And they've been putting that together since like the end of last year. And now they're going to do it again because they don't think leadership is going to happen. So it's going to be, listen, the qualifications for the next one are going to be 2-star and above. So get your booty to 2-star.
That's October?
I believe. If that's for their virtual vacay one. An official word on leadership, because I'm still working to get there, you guys. Whether or not it happens, I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter if it does or it doesn't. I want to know that I qualified by the date I was supposed to qualify for. Because that's my goal for this month. And the thing is too, is what I love to hear them say is like, they have constant disappointments too. We look at these people that are like multi-million-dollar earners like per month. And it's like, they're like, we have constant disappointments, constant people that check out of our business. And here we are at our level. Like, I know sometimes I wish for success, right? And even where I am now, I used to like wish for it. And now I'm like, whoa, there's a whole lot more on my plate that I didn't really realize was coming. And then when I look at them and I'm like, yeah, they're earning ridiculous money, but whoa, the like 6 of them are like working their hiney butts off, not sleeping to like put this together for us. So it's like, you got to think about where you are and what you have to do right now. You might feel super stressed by sending 5 invites, but let me tell you, if you want to grow, you got to be ready for the work that it takes, and then the work it's going to take at that next level, right? But the rewards are amazing, right? I mean, amazing. And I think about, if I was Lindsay Matway, I would go to bed every night being like, I can't believe I've done this. Like, I look at like the team itself is like 70,000 people or something. And then like, think about how many lives those are touching. I mean, when you talk about leaving a legacy, like that's my thing too. Like, how do I want my grandkids to remember me? Do I want them to remember me as someone who just was like I think of my grandmother who kind of like sat in a rocking chair, like granted she was a lot older because my mother was younger than her siblings, but sat in a rocking chair with like a fly swatter, and we would like sleep over, and she would like let us have money to like go to Sorts for ice cream, and that was our big thing. And I loved her to death, right? And I miss her so much. But I'm like, is that like, what kind of like, what do I want to leave? What do I want my kids to say? Wow, my mom did this. What do I want my grandkids to say? Like, my mom did this. Is it going to be that I always heard her say that she was too busy to do what she wanted to do? That is not what I want my kids to say, right? Because you're going to be too busy for life all the time. When I hear too busy, like we all know when your challenger gives you the too busy excuse, you're like, girl, you busy? I can tell you have time to do it. What about your business? What about when you're saying you're too busy for your business? Because I'm going to tell you, you're always going to be busy. And again, treat this as hobby outcomes. Treat this as, this is worth my get up and go time. You're going to have a business. So if busy is like, I don't want anyone remembering me by like, well, she said she wanted to do this, but she was too busy. She said she really would have liked to have pursued this, but she said she was too busy. No, thank you. Are you saying something, Court? Because you're muted. I'm going to unmute you. There you go. Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. My son wasn't here with me a little earlier. So I've got this picture, and I've been wanting to do a post. Like, I like to do something motivational on Monday. And I want to thank you for the "a made up mind is a powerful one," because it matches my picture.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I have some, like, and I love that. So
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, are you kidding? I'm like crafting like 1,000 posts in my head from this weekend. All those like taglines that are.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It's so true, you guys. It's just like, again, like I always want you, when you have come to like an excuse that you're making in your business, because we all know when we make them, I make them. Always want you to equate it to a challenger saying the same thing to you about their fitness, right? If they've made up their mind that 2B mindset doesn't work, because I've got people like that, or made up their mind that the portion fix doesn't work, or made up their mind that Shakeology doesn't make a difference, I'm like, you're right, it doesn't. Like, I cannot convince someone like that if they've made up their mind. Sherry Schaefer shared in our group one time, and when it was like a post that I made about like an inspirational quote, it was like, a mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. I like loved that. If you're closed-minded to something, nothing about any opportunity is ever going to work for you. Nothing. You have to have an open mind for things to work. The things I was most skeptical about in this business, like our programs and stuff, are the things that worked the best for me. But I had to have an open mind and admit that I could be humble enough to say like I was wrong, right? Or humble enough to say I didn't know, my way wasn't working, that changing something up could be working better. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being on. Heads up, because I am so excited about this. So as you guys know, I put that post up on, I think, Friday about the pod coming up this month. So the people that have goals, and everyone wrote that they wanted to be in certain pods if they qualified, right? Like SC Club, whatever. But Ashley also, because she is currently an elite coach, has the opportunity to request a call with Megan Davies, and they get to invite another team to be on. And she has invited me and our team.
Yay!
God.
I know. They got to be, which is going to be great to share in your stories, videotape the dang thing. I don't care. She's like, I really requested 8 p.m. Eastern time because they got one with Joel last year and it was like at 10 o'clock. And she's like, hell to the no. She's like, I stayed up. I'm like, I cannot. I love new programs and trainers, but I'm not, like 10 o'clock is like catch the recording time for me. So anyway, I just want you to know, we don't know exactly. She had to give a few dates, times. It might be a week. That's obviously not a Monday night at 8 or something, but I will keep you posted. Hopefully we get to be on the team call with Megan so we can ask her questions. And so you can really be like in your stories, like, I'm just chatting it up with my new trainer. So definitely, yes. So definitely
tell her thank you.
I know. I'm such a good, you know what? We were in the same pod in the Hustlers Happy Hour Elite. And like, you know, it was like 5 or 6 girls and they're all amazing, but we just very much seemed to have the same mission, ethic, like way of running our team. So I just reached out to her and I was like, I don't know if you have a success partner, because I did, but she's not really working her business anymore. We're still best of friends, but I'm like, I would love to pair up. And the more we got talking, we're like, well, how do you like to do things? I'm like we would say something, be like, I do the same thing. So I think it's like a beautiful match. This is who we're going to be teaming up with for these pods, right? For this incentive this next month too, which I think is going to be great because you guys, finding success partners across opposite teams is the way to go. And I know that their team has excellent resources. Holly Hillier is Ashley's upline, top coach by like a far right now. They have, and I know their team is like us. So I think it's going to be great to be paired up. You should definitely be paired up. I know, Jenna, we were talking about this with people like outside of our team. Like it's the best way to go. Like that's why success partners work, because you can share resources. Like I sent her our training page today to look at, you know, like it's always a really great thing. So if you want someone to push you to be better, right? And success partnerships should never be about like complaining about things or woe is me, right? They can always be like, yes, what's working for you? This is not working for me. Do you have any suggestions? Like, how do we be better? And if you show up and have a little pity party, because that all happens, like you get over it and you're like, okay, well, what can we do this month to now hit this goal that we want? So if you are ever talking to someone looking for a success partner, that's the kind of relationship you want to have, right? Like push for growth, be solution oriented, share resources, help each other out. It's a powerful thing in this business, you guys, for sure. So I'm so excited for July, even just for those reasons alone, you guys. The fact that we're pairing up with this amazing team, another amazing leader. We've got awesome things to come. Everybody's got goals. I kid you not. I would show you. I'm going to show you my little whiteboard here, but like when I say this team can be a 15-star team by the end of next year, we can be probably 12-star at the end of this year if everybody hits the goals that they want. It's not like I'm making up goals for people, you guys. Do you know how amazing that is? Started last year, 2019, at Diamond. Like, And it's not me, guys. It's you. It's you guys who keep showing up week after week on this call, who are joining this team, who have the same fire as the rest of us have. Like, it's an incredible flipping thing. And I know there's no summit this year, but next year, I want us recognized, the Vibe Up Tribe, as a superstar elite team. I want many of you walking across the stage as star diamonds, as elite and premier coaches yourself, because now it's like, I feel like because I've been able to make it happen, I can help you make it happen. And I know those are goals that everybody has, guys. And we are lucky, and we have this like awesome family here on this team, and we have people that are supporting us. Like, even though this month was rocky, I like literally am ending the month, I think, like just so filled with joy, excitement, opportunity, grateful heart. Like I can't even put it into words. So I just want to thank you guys all, because you drive me to wake up every day and like just put the fingers to the keyboard and get going, because I am so pumped to watch you guys achieve what I know it is that you guys want to achieve. And you're like right on the brink of breaking into that next level, which then it just keeps going. It's momentum. It's momentum. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being on. Have an amazing Monday night. And I'm excited for July.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.